Well, hello SSSVEDA people. It's yet another hammock vlog. I like it better than the car vlogs I've seen people doing. It seems a lot safer. Though I do have an outtake maybe I'll share of I've climbed into this hammock a million times and I've never had a mishap, but I managed to tip it over while I was trying to get into my zoomed in shot here. So yeah, that was fun. So anyway, the question for day 29 here, second to the last day, is how has your opinion on video creation changed over this month? And for me, quite honestly, you know, I've adopted a style. I didn't really want to have a system where I spent a lot of time preparing for each shoot. I didn't write scripts or anything like that. A couple of times I experimented with just shooting a bunch of video throughout the day, but what I found is that most of the time, you know, video creation is easy. You get a camera, you get in a nice environment with good lighting and good sound, and then you roll. And if you have something to say, then the rest comes easy. But the hard part I found is just finding really good video editing tools. I've tried a whole bunch of them. I settled, most of the time I've just used the built-in YouTube editor. So I don't have a lot of the fancy graphics and stuff that some of you guys have, but just a lot of those tools, they disappointed me. I even tried one that's pretty expensive, and it was very highly rated in a lot of the video editing magazines and stuff like that. But it's, I don't know, I'm sure it would be better if I put a lot of time into learning how to use it, or if video editing were my thing. But video editing isn't really my thing, so I just try to put up mostly raw stuff. And so it's pretty easy to do that. I just roll with a decent camera in a decent environment, and I've got a little microphone here that hopefully sounds good to you guys. And the rest of it, yeah, most of the editing I do is just trimming videos and putting them together, and writing descriptions and scheduling them. And I think it's something that I'm going to want to keep doing to some extent. I don't know what kind of schedule I want to do, but yeah, I like that you can film stuff a little bit ahead of time and schedule it to go out. I've kind of been behind all of SSSVEDA, so I film things on the day that we're supposed to talk about the issue or the question at hand, but I film it on that day and I tend to actually go live with it the next day. So from your perspective, I mean, you've got people seeing the vlog. Like, I'm actually, with the ones that I'm making right now, I'm actually going to catch up just in time for SSSVEDA's end. And I think that'll be a little bit easier when I'm just filming based on topics that are of interest, you know, that I pick myself, instead of trying to stick with everyone else's Veda topics or something like that. But yeah, I think the hardest part is the editing, and I have a ton of respect for people like, you know, I've watched a lot of good vlogs, and I have a ton of respect for people like Casey Neistat, who are genuine filmmakers, and he generates so much quality content. He has a lot of time lapses, he has a lot of unique shots. I mean, I don't have a lot of unique shots. I mean, mostly it's either been me standing in my house or me just hanging out on the hammock. So yeah, I kind of try and take a minimalist approach to vlogging. Not a lot of video editing, just stream of consciousness. And you know, I could try to do something else, but I just don't have time for it. I'm doing so many other things. The interesting thing I've seen is that the people who have the most time for vlogging are the people who own their own businesses, or the people who are like, I see a lot of stay-at-home moms vlogging. I see a lot of you know, some people are like unemployed or looking for work. There's a guy I saw, he has a Lamborghini and he's unemployed and he's vlogging a whole bunch. So I think it's an interesting way to build brand. So if someone's job hunting, it's an interesting way. By putting out a lot of these vlogs, people can kind of maybe get to know them. You know, that's a double-edged sword though. But you know, when you think about it, do you really want someone, do you really want someone getting to know the real you in person after they've already made a commitment to hire you if who you are is going to be a problem? Or would you rather they kind of just figure out who you are from your vlog and social media and stuff like that and decide before they even hire you? To me, doing a lot of social media stuff, that's kind of full disclosure. So if a person has a bunch of stuff on social media and this goes with other relationships too, marriage, dating people, really, that kind of goes on. There are two ways I really think the internet is ultimately going to have to work out, and I don't necessarily mean it's going to go one way or the other. I think it might kind of devolve into one of these two factions. I think there's going to be a completely private side of the internet where people are completely anonymous, and that's kind of like they call it, I guess the dark net or the dark side of the internet or whatever. Even though, theoretically, you might want to be anonymous just so you can share your own innermost feelings or concerns you have, or it's really nice sometimes to talk to a perfect stranger about something and kind of reciprocate, go back and forth, and just talk about things that are on your mind without having the risk that it's going to come back and reintroduce, just because you shared a concern with someone, it shouldn't necessarily come back into your life. But then there's the other side, which is if you want to do transactions with people or if you want to be friends and stuff like that, then I think you need a side of the internet that is completely honest. And just because I've done a lot of stuff with politics over the years, I didn't really have the luxury of real privacy. A lot of, when you're a politician, when you run for office, no matter how minor, a lot of your information is put into the public domain, and you've got news and TV interviews and all this stuff. And the way I've approached it is I would rather, I think I'm a pretty good guy, so I'd rather just be completely honest. I don't have all these ties to like super corporations that I wasn't doing backroom deals for any of them. I was just a regular guy. And so I felt I had nothing to fear by being just honest and nice to people about stuff like that. And maybe some sociopath will prove me wrong on that someday. But I just think that they're kind of going to boil down to be two internets, where you've got one where everyone is who they say they are and they say what's on their mind, and then another one where people are freer, but you don't really know who you're talking to at all. And what we have now I think is kind of a mixed internet, which is, where some people are hiding behind fake identities, or they're trolling, or all this kind of stuff. And then other people are being relatively genuine, and I see some vloggers that are showing their like day-to-day lives and their families and all this kind of stuff. And so I kind of wonder over the next generation or so how that's going to shake out. And I'm thinking it's probably going to, there are some places right now, like for example Xbox Live, where kind of a third party, in this case Microsoft's Xbox division, they kind of make sure that that they kind of police reputation and stuff, and I like it. If you report someone for misbehaving, then they get set aside, and they can only play with other people who misbehave a lot. So if you want to go and you want to have fun with other people, then you can do that. But if you start misbehaving and like killing members of your own team, or not playing the game the way it was intended and ruining it for other people, then the only people you can play with are people like that. And I think in general that might be a model for a larger society, is just not so much with the imprisonment and the fines and stuff, but just helping, having a better system of reputation, so that people who have a good reputation are free to associate with people who have a good reputation, and people who have a reputation of being sociopaths can really only associate with other sociopaths until they decide to try and change their ways and maybe get some chances to associate with nice people. So anyway, that's a little bit off the topic of video creation, but you've been watching this long probably, so you're used to some of my longer rambling vlog entries. But be sure to like and subscribe, and of course, as always, comment away. I love the comments, and I'm really going to be focusing on the comments over these last couple videos here. And that's it for me today, and I will see you tomorrow for the last day of Veda. It tipped backwards.